Well, hello. Here we are. Our heads cut off.
Mine was.
Should I
No,
adjust
perfect.
it?
Perfect.
Okay. Okay. Hello. Here we are for Q&A
Hello.
number 81. You scared me. Oh dear. Okay. This is from Sherry Baby. She's saying that she likes butter better than margarine. Rule of thumb. If you can't pronounce,
margarine scares me. What's it made of?
who knows? You can't even
I
pronounce the
think-
ingredients.
When it first came out in the 50s, I remember when it came out, I think it was lard, and you mixed their own yellow
Ooh.
in with it, so it looked like butter.
And lard is animal fat.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. They say it's for vegetables. Anyway, have you ever made your own laundry soap? And she says she does, and it's much cheaper and better for your clothing costs. And do you have a favorite recipe for a batch of detergent? Okay, I don't make my own detergent,
Our
but
son did.
my
Joe made some.
my
And
daughter
so-
Amanda does. So I have to get the recipe from her, and I just use whatever's the cheapest. Because I don't like spending. I spend maybe $5 on a big gallon of it. But I'm going to do a DIY on that and ask my daughter what she says. She loves it, and it's a powder. I use the liquid, but she
When we
says
used
she
powder,
loves it.
It was always on the side of the washing machine on the floor. It would just
Yeah.
go all around.
But,
the floor. Liquid, I love it because press it once, it's in. Press it again, you go down the other
Yeah.
side.
So I will ask her for that recipe, and I'd love to try it out and see how she does it. Maybe send me your recipe
But don't
for
you like the
detergent.
the
I
quick
do.
button?
I do like it, but
It literally takes this much time to put in.
well, you got to put more than that in.
I know. And then I put it on the other side.
So apparently he does his own wash. Okay, this is from Aaron Floyd. I was wondering if any of your siblings ended up marrying a spouse that was much older than them, like you did. You both crack me up. There isn't a vlog that doesn't make me laugh. That's nice. I just love you guys. You're such a motivating, inspirational
But
couple.
is she laughing with us or
Hopefully
at
with us. Hopefully with us.
Just kidding.
So,
Just kidding.
and no, let me think. Chris, his second wife was 10 years younger than him. Roy, same age.
But
Brent,
it's
same age. Roy,
totally
Brent,
different
Chris,
culture and country.
Judy Jane
Chris.
Connor. Yeah. His first wife, yeah. And she was a couple years younger. But the most is, my brother's second wife is 10 years younger than he is. But that's the only ones I can think of. The rest are pretty much 1, 2, 3 years age difference. But that's a good question. Okay. And Sherry Baby wants to know, let's see, awesome DIY. I wonder which one it was. You totally ace at everything you do, Mama. Oh, do you crochet? That's nice for her to say. Of course, I pick stuff that I'm good at, you know. Do you crochet, knit, or make blankets? I do crochet and knit, but I don't crochet or knit blankets, but I tie them. But I haven't, I'm not one where I stitch it. I'm not patient enough. Say, how many years old was the ranch? And had to be old judging by the make and model of some of those cars. Yeah, oh gosh, 65 years.
But he specifically bought older models. He preferred older models as an investment.
He liked those Model A's.
So
Yeah, those
he
old
knew
cars.
he could resell some of those models for thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
But he held on to them because he knew the price was going to go up. But he specifically bought older model cars.
Yeah, he had a few of those older cars, but he had it about 65 years. So that's how many years they were married until we had to sell the farm to take care of him. So that's a good question. Yeah, okay, let's see. And then he kept the cars for so long that they kind of rusted out, and then they weren't as valuable. But, okay, here's another one from Kate Carter. How old is it? Oh, when
The turtle.
it showed Rochelle's turtle. She brought it home from Argentina when she went on a mission, and it fit in her pocket. I think we had it about 5 years.
Wasn't it about this
It got pretty big.
8 or 9 inches
It was
long?
small enough to put in her pocket, and then she took care of it for a couple of years till she got married. And then when she had her first baby, she couldn't take care of it because, you know, she had a baby. And then she asked me to take care of it, and I took care of it for about a year. And then my daughter Amanda had a brain tumor, and she had a 2-month-old baby, and I was taking care of the baby while she was recovering from her operation from her brain tumor, and the turtle died under my care. But so we were kind of sad about that. But everybody understood because I was taking care of Amanda. She lived here her and her husband lived here for 2 months, and the baby, until she recovered enough that she could go home. And just, you know, didn't take it. I kept it outside, and it just didn't make it. But that's a good question. Papa O posted a video of, we called him Onse. Number 11 was the number the kids used
in
their basketball games. And so when she got the turtle, she named him Onse. Jersey. Their journey?
Yeah.
Their jersey. So that's why she named him Onse. But she really loved that turtle. He was a really cute little thing, and we all felt bad when he died. He's buried out back, by the way.
In our pet cemetery.
In our pet cemetery. We have a lot of animals out there. Okay.
Only one of them deserved a headstone. It was Peaches.
Peaches. We had her 25 years.
Newman didn't even get.
Newman got in there. We gave her a little,
piece of wood.
Piece of wood with their name written on it. That's all Peaches got too. But what do you do with animals? You don't want to just throw them in the garbage.
That would be desecrating them.
I don't know. So we would just bury them out back
in the garden. It was one end of the garden.
Yeah, so that's what we did with our animals. Okay, Bonnie Barber. Even the fish we buried. The kids got so attached to their animals. Okay, Bonnie Barber. For some odd reason, I think that violin looks perfect in Hunter's arms.
I have a quick comment on that.
Okay.
But if you notice where his hand wasn't long enough to reach where you get the notes. They reached right at the end, right at the end. And his hands were just supporting it, and they weren't. So he'd have to have a smaller violin for a small person.
The violin was a bit too big for them, but it seemed to fit Hunter. And she says, "Oh, and I don't understand why birds are in a V when they fly south. Can someone explain?" Yeah, that's a good question. They form. The guess for the forming of the V is because the one in the front acts as a wind guard, and
he's drafting.
It's called drafting. Like runners know about
runners go and do drafting. They break the head part of the wind, and then the ones behind.
Yeah, drafting. When you run, you get behind another runner, and they break on a windy day. They break the wind,
and they take turns trading off who has to be the first one
to break the wind. And so birds do that. They fly in the V, and then they take turns getting in the head of the V, getting in the pointy part of the V, and that's how they make it for so far.
I've read about pelicans and different birds that do that.
Geese do it.
And sometimes it takes them so long to go from Mexico clear up the coast to Maine, and it's a couple of generations of birds where they live and die. And by the time they get up there.
Yeah, and that's how they're able to travel distance for so long. And I was reading about geese, and that's how they do it too. They take turns drafting, and so that they can rest a bit. I don't know how you rest in the air, but it's pretty cool how they take care of each other.
And they have some kind of innate sense where they're going. But I picture some of them saying, I'll see them sometimes flying east, and I'll say, they better get a new person
their guide
to lead the pack, because he's going east, and it's south in the wintertime and north
And some, so it's pretty interesting to see that, just to see them flying in it. And you'll have to look up the geese. The geese is really interesting, and the geese make noise. They honk or whatever noise it is they make, and I'm not sure what that.
One of the times in elementary school where I substituted, the science lesson was on the migration of birds long distances, like 5,000 miles or something, and it takes sometimes more than one generation of the bird.
Oh dear!
And they always stop midway stop because some are dying, and then new ones are born, and they keep on flying.
Oh dear! They just keep going. Yeah, it's pretty amazing when they have that instinct to go somewhere. It is really amazing. Okay, Lisa Vincent, what grade is the oldest grandkid in?
It'd have to be, it's Tyra.
Tyra's the oldest, and she's 16. So, they did homeschool for a while, and now they're in a charter school. So I guess she would be a junior.
16 would be a junior.
Yeah, a junior, so she's got one more year.
It'd be an old junior, or because usually it's 15, 16, and 17. Like the old seniors graduate, they're already 18, and
so I was graduated at 17.
I didn't turn 17 to my senior year in September.
Same here, yeah, because I was an October baby. But Tyra is I think she's a junior, and she's 16. So we've only got her for a couple more years till she, referring to the last question, flies the coop and heads south.
She wants to go on a mission, though. I think.
She wants to do a signing mission when she's 19, and she also wants to work with her mother in healing, holistic healing clinic. They want to open one of those and help people get better with natural healing. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out.
Anything to do with spiritual things, or is it just?
I don't know. Holistic is just natural healing.
Okay.
I don't think
so it's nothing to do with.
No. No, I don't think it's.
I gotta look
where
up
they
holistic.
get a note going. We shouldn't mock people, but
no.
No, holistic healing is with natural healing. Okay, let's do one more. JD, a little bit of everything.
I'm looking up holistic healing.
While we're talking?
Well, no, I'm listening to you.
Oh, you're listening. Okay. Okay, this is from JD, a little bit of everything. Have you ever thought of doing a giveaway with your book? That's a good question. Say, I am not going to have kids, but I'd love to read it and pass it on. That's a really good question. I think I will do that. I'll ask Davy how to do a giveaway. And she's talking about my book, Mom, I'm Home.
The cost of shipping would double the cost of the book.
That's okay. That's why it's called a giveaway.
What we ought to do is do the ebooks where they can they can either download it on their computer or on their phone.
The ebooks are $3. But she's talking about my book, Mom, I'm Home, and I wrote it for to help. It tells you how we raised our kids, our children, and it talks about marriage and money and children and disciplining and.
Okay, here's holistic healing. Okay. Holistic medicine is a form of healing that considers the whole person, body, mind, spirit, emotions, in the quest for optimal health and wellness. It's interesting.
Well, because it takes all that to heal. You can't just patch something up and have some, because I've heard people say if you have problems in your life, it's you haven't
shortens your life.
Yeah, it shortens your life. If you haven't resolved something in your life, it keeps making you sick physically. You have to resolve it, and so that would be your mind.
Like, for example, hate.
Yeah, if you hate,
it will break your health.
It will eat you alive. It just will. It'll break your health down, and so that's why they talk about that in holistic healing. It's both spirit, mind. You got your physical, your emotional, spiritual, and you have to work with everything for the healing. And I know a lot of you out there know what I'm talking about. You have to resolve things to get better. It just it just takes everything to heal you. So that'll be interesting to watch, see how they become of that. Okay, so let's. So I will let you know on my book giveaway and how to enter. I'll find out how to make it a contest and how to enter it and how to choose a winner.
And how often you should do it.
And how often I should do it, yeah, and who would actually would like the book. And I like that
everybody wants a free book.
Well, some people might not want it on how to raise your family.
That's
but
right.
But
it's about raising children, and as grandchildren, how to raise your grandchildren now.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Because as grandparents, you do help in raising your grandchildren. You do. You help the kids out. You're babysitting them. What do you do when you have them in your care?
But there's a section in the book. I edited most of the book
he read through it 3 times, editing it for me.
But I did mostly where punctuation, capitalization should go and everything.
Made sure I got all that correct.
And so I've been through it quite a bit. But there is a section on that's very good for everybody, and it's how parents should react to each other, like about arguing, getting along.
Yeah, it talks about not letting your children play against each. You say, well, Mom said I could, and then the dad will say, well, I said you couldn't do it. You say, well, Mom said I could, and then that gets the parents arguing. Don't allow your children.
Caitlin, she's 8 years old, and if I tell her no, then she runs to Mama and said,
that rhymes.
Grandpa said this. And
yeah, you have to be careful not to let the kids play against you. I mean, kids don't mean to do that. They don't mean to do that, but just make sure you two are in sync with each other, and say, like you can't say, well, like what if Papa O says, I said you can't go till your chores are done, and then the mom will say, oh, well, Dad's at work, don't tell him that I let you go to the party, and don't do that. You will destroy your marriage very quickly. And if he says that she can't go, you back him up. Because I talk a lot about power. If you want power, and you don't want to lose your power of taking care of your children, don't play that game. Be in sync with each other. Say, well, Dad says that you need to do your chores first before you go to the party, and you need to do it.
And there's 2 words that make any marriage work. It's yes, honey.
No, yes, dear. Yes, dear.
Oh, yes, dear.
And I talk about marriage in there, how you need to include God. Don't ever try a marriage without God, because you're a partnership. It's like a triangle. One of the strongest shapes carpenters have is a triangle. You can't destroy that. That's why you need 3 in your marriage: God, you, and your spouse. And as long as you have that triangle, you're going to be strong. Right. In the book, we talk about how important a daddy is, and how important a mother is, and how important it is to work together, and talking about chores and disciplining and money, allowances, and how important it is to raise your children with love, but yet discipline, and how to keep a home functioning, and how to keep a marriage together. And it's not an easy task, but it is doable. And in the world now, it's very common to be divorced. Back when Joe's parents got divorced, it was very uncommon. But now it's over 50% that get divorced.
A couple of rules that we had with our kids in Roseanne's book. There's a couple things we never paid our children for. One of them was for getting good grades, like an A. Mm-hmm. Our feeling is the A is its own reward. And we
never paid for grades.
No, but it's popular to say, oh, I get an A for every...
I get $5 for every A or whatever. And our kids, sometimes they say, well, how come we don't get any money for our A's? And I said, well, we can't afford it. There's just no way.
My feeling is That's the payment. Is that you got the
and
A.
that's what we would tell them.
Yeah.
Say your payment is your reward for succeeding in
And
what
the
you
other
went out.
one, the other one was how much money we paid them.
Allowance.
Allowance. That's what.
Yeah. And we didn't believe in
We
allowance.
didn't believe in allowance.
Says you.
They still have to make their bed. They still have to help with the dishes.
I'll post a video. I did a little drawing thing of how we raised our kids, and I'll post that, and it tells a little bit about my book. But we can't keep talking; it goes too long on the book. But we'll do that giveaway. That's a really good idea.
That shows them that I'm for your book. And
Yeah,
I
I
love
appreciate
it.
that. Yeah, he edited it for me. Took me a year to write it, a year to edit it, and a year to get it published. And I went with self-publishing. I was going to go with Deseret Book. They accepted it, and then by the time I got it written...
Deseret Book is one of the larger book companies in Salt Lake, and it's mostly LDS things, but it's all... But a lot of it is not LDS.
Yeah, and then they can only publish 2 books a year, and I guess I took too long writing it. I don't know. So I went with self-publishing, which I'm glad because it'll never go out of print. So we'll go ahead and close with a couple of quotes.
I get to choose one?
Let's see, I'll do this one. To live a creative life, we must lose our fear of being wrong.
Ooh, I have to give this other one. It's been done already.
Okay.
Just when the caterpillar thought the world was ending, he turned into a butterfly. And another, I'm going to add to that, there's no time limit to turn into that butterfly.
Yeah, don't put a time limit on it.
Like, I wanted to become a runner in my middle 40s, and most people are saying, I'm too old. But Roseanne turned into a butterfly runner with all the trophies up there after 6 kids. And,
I was 32 when I started running.
Yeah.
A lot of women start
so
running
if she
then.
became a butterfly, and most of them would have said, I'm too old, I got too many kids. And
I've
too
heard
much
of a lady that started at 65, and somebody else started at age 80.
Well, my first marathon was at 50.
Yeah, you did a marathon at 50. So don't limit yourself. And when I decided to write my book, my kids were all little. And I remember Zig Ziglar saying, so you tell somebody you're going to do it. So that's when I wrote to Deseret Book, and then they said they would accept it. And then he says, just spend an hour a day. So I just spent an hour a day, and it took me a year to write it, and it was a lot of fun. And but you do have to get rid of your fear that you're going to be wrong, and then you can just go for it.
But connect with that butterfly story. I mean, there's no age when you can say where I'm supposed to turn into a butterfly.
Why did it quit? Was it not recording at all that whole time? Thank you for liking, commenting, and subscribing, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Bedroom's not the only place to love me. There are many other ways to show you care. Bedroom's not the only place, the only time away to show